Okay, welcome to our fourth session in the Getting Organized and Managing Commitments series. Today, Tristen Hall and I, Elizabeth Staton, will be talking about tools for efficiency. So this is just going to be an overview of several tools that we hope will increase your efficiency in your day-to-day work. There's really two main things that we're going to talk about today, which is some tricks for scheduling meetings. And a lot of that has to do with virtual meetings and scheduling video discussions like this one. And then also a little bit on collaborating on documents. And then we're going to have some discussion. So I'm going to start out with talking about some quick ways of scheduling meetings using Outlook plugins. And there's three ones that I'm going to talk about today. So if you see in this screenshot, the large picture shows an appointment, like a blank appointment, and there is a button that says schedule a Zoom meeting. There's also one going over that says Skype meeting and one for Teams meeting. And then I think I cut it off further over on in my Outlook is this wonderful orange red button that says new meeting poll. So I'm going to show you some of these today. I'm not going to go over the Skype meetings. I think that automatically came with Outlook and it's not something that I use, but I'm sure probably works the same way. So the first one is one of my favorites, and it is called Find Time. So this is a plugin, again, that just integrates with Outlook. And what it does is looks at your attendees' schedule availability. So not actually looking at their meetings, but availability of all the people that you want to invite. And then it suggests some times that might work based on open calendar times and creates a poll for them. So this is all automatic. And I know it works. It certainly works very well within a single organization. So if you're inviting people from the university, it works well. It's been a while since I've tried to invite someone outside in a different domain, but I believe that there's a web interface that they can also connect to their calendar or just vote in the poll. So I'll show you how that works in just a little bit with some actual meetings and attendees. The next plugin that I use is the Zoom plugin. And this, when you click the button from your Outlook calendar item, this window pops up and it gives you all the basic choices that you might want to make for a Zoom meeting. So if you want to have a passcode or a waiting room, that sort of thing. Once you click save, it creates the Zoom meeting and puts that information in your Outlook calendar. So to me, it's just an easy way. It saves you steps, especially if you're just doing like a one-time meeting and you don't want to separately log into the Zoom portal and go through all these steps. You can do it all through Outlook.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
Can you go back one
Yes.
slide?
Yes.
So what is the preferred as far as security? I've had different, because I only do this for Dawn. Well, I can't say that anymore. Majority of mine, yeah, you can laugh there, Tristen. The majority of mine is for Dawn. So what is there a protocol? Is it personal preference as far as security, as far as like waiting rooms, passwords?
Well, the university does have some suggestions for that. And if you go to their OIT website, and I always find it by I just Google UC Denver OIT or Anschutz OIT. Okay. They have a whole page on Zoom and recommended security measures so that you don't get people coming in. The main thing that is really like widely suggested is that you don't publicly post your meeting number and passcode, so that some random person can't just come in.
So publicly would mean like on some,
like on a website, like if
okay,
yeah. But if you are just putting it in an Outlook, calendar, then someone would have to guess the meeting number and the passcode. And I'm sure hackers can do that, but that's another step. So I think most things they recommend to have a passcode at least, so that you have to, it's like one more level of security. I think that's pretty basic. If you want to do the waiting room, the thing with that is that if you have people arrive late, you have to kind of stop your discussion or presentation and let them in. And I think that works if you have a co-host who can mind that. But when I've observed people using the waiting room, it's a little bit disruptive. And if you don't notice that there's a waiting room message, then somebody's stuck waiting and they're not allowed in until you like click allow them in.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, so but check the university recommendations because there's different levels.
Thank you.
No problem. Then the final thing that I'm going to talk about is creating a Teams meeting. Teams is a piece of software that we all have access to through the university license, and it is really meant for collaboration, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But one aspect of Teams is the opportunity to have a video meeting. And so if you click the button, once you have Teams software on your computer, if you add the plugin for Outlook, and probably Microsoft puts it in automatically since it is a Microsoft product, then you click that button and it will create the team meeting based on the information that you have put in your calendar, so the date and time. So just make sure you pick the date and time first and then click the Teams meeting button and it just pops in there. So then when you send this to somebody, the link is right there for them to click. So now I want to show you this, and so I am going to go over, the first thing I want to do is the find time. So that is from it starts from a email message, which is a little bit counterintuitive because you're probably thinking, oh, I'm going to make a calendar, but the first step is to get your required people. So I'm going to put Tristen in there, and Doug Fernald kindly offered to let me send him these calendar invitations. So here is going to be a test meeting. And then when I click this, the first step is like a login, and I honestly can't remember if that, it's for me, it's a seamless process. So I think at some point I might have had to make some sort of account, or I might have had to log in with my university credentials. If you try it out, you will find that. Okay, so from here, I can pick the amount of time. So if I want an hour and a half, and work hours, I think it probably defaults to 8 to 5 is my guess. Then what it's doing is it's looking at the calendar for them. And on tomorrow, it shows that there's some of us are available, some of us, let's see, Doug has something tentative there. So it's not showing his meetings, but just the availability. So you can go to I went to April. I think this one is the one I want. So looking at next week on the 22nd, there's several times that we are all available. So what you do is you pick some options, and if I was okay with somebody, let's see, is this, if I said, okay, it's all right if Tristen misses this, ideally she'd be there, but not necessary, then you can click this. And what happens is when I click next, it's going to send a poll to anybody who's invited. So it doesn't assume because your calendar is available that you truly are available. It will send a poll to say, hey, Elizabeth is proposing these times. It also sends temporary or tentative, like hold the date appointments to their Outlook for all the options. And then after the polling happens, it will, if there's consensus and we decide everybody, picks one, then Outlook will send the meeting, like the final meeting, and delete the temporary ones. So I'll show you a little bit how this works. So, all right. So once I send these poll items, this is what goes into my message, and I send this to them. Now I sent one earlier, so we don't have to wait for either one to go out. So this earlier one that I sent, Tristen had voted, and it shows me like what's available. And actually at this point, Doug voted too. And so there was one time, March 22nd, that they were all available. The hearts, I think, are like their favorite time. And then these ones that they're not available show that way. And then let's see. So then I get a message that says, this is great. They picked I think what it does is pick the first available time that works for everybody. And then this is what I get as a notice that my people reached consensus, and then it created the appointment, and Doug had already accepted it. So this automatically went out for test appointment. So I like it. It's great, especially if you have a lot of people and you need to find a time that works for everybody. So now just quickly to show the Zoom options. If I want to do a Zoom for tomorrow at 12:30, I just click this schedule Zoom. I pick my options if I just want that. And once I click save, then it creates the Zoom meeting, and then it's all here. And then this is just saved to me. If I want to invite people, I click attendees. So
Can I ask another question?
Yes.
So this is from you. Now I have Zoom access for Dawn because I set up for Dawn. Can I do that same thing for Dawn?
So do you have access to his calendar?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I think if you are accessing his calendar and you send it from his account, I believe that it would work that way.
Okay, I'll try that.
It would say Dawn Niece is inviting you.
Okay, I'll try that.
You might have to try it. You don't have to invite anybody. You can go through the steps and create it. And then what I have found is that if I then log into the Zoom portal for the university, it does show all of these meetings. So I've done a couple of these test ones, and then I have Zoom meetings that nobody's going to go to, but I don't think that's a big deal.
You could delete them.
Yeah. The next, let's see. Oops. This, I'm going to do another calendar invitation. The Teams meeting is very similar. In fact, it's one click because there's not really any options on that.
So I'm seeing all of these in my options except for the polling thing. The time, where do you download?
Yes, so that is so great. That is my next slide.
So happy to help with your segue.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so this one, you should have this store button.
Yep.
And you click that, and that goes to the Microsoft plugins page, and you can pick which items you want. So that's where Find Time is. There's probably some other plugins there that you can look at. The Zoom one, I found the easiest way is from our portal. So I logged into ucdenver.zoom.us, and this button is down near the bottom of that page. And then the Teams, for downloading the Teams software, which I think does automatically put the plugin if you don't already have it, then I got that from this OIT, the Office of Information Technology page with the software, and it has some background on using Teams. Any other questions about these scheduling options? I'm going to quickly do a little bit about Teams, and then Tristan's going to talk about Egnyte. So Teams is a place where you can collaborate. There are various, like you get added to a team, and so then you can interact with the people on your team with a chat feature, or you can post messages to a discussion board. The idea here would be fewer emails and not having to switch back and forth. It's an integrated solution. You can have your video meetings. I have to say I prefer Zoom, but it could just be that I'm more familiar with it. But you definitely can have video meetings. There's different features than Zoom has. But the thing that I really want to show is collaborating on a document, because if I didn't have something like this, I used to spend a lot of time reconciling two versions of a document where two different people worked on it separately. And that can be done, but it's a little brain damaging. And so I really like this opportunity to work on a document that's posted that multiple people can work on at the same time. So I'm going to show you that. So this is my teams. Each one of these boxes is a team that I've been added to. So over on the left here are chat features, and that's across teams. So if I click that, I can see individual discussions. What we're at right now is my Teams homepage, and then there's assignments, calendars, and calls. I personally don't use those, so I'm not very familiar with them. But if I click on this DFM COVID evaluation, this is a research project, kind of crossing research and clinical, and we're working on a paper on it. And so what is over on the left here are channels. So that's sort of like subdivisions, because it's one big project about COVID evaluation, but then there's two different research projects that we're working on. So I click on this one, I've got a discussion where you can tag people. Jodi tagged me in there, and then you can respond back. So then you don't have to switch back and forth with your emails. But my favorite spot are the files, and here all sorts of folders and documents. And if I open this document, I can edit it right here in the Teams software, which I can start typing here. The other thing that I like to do is actually open it in the desktop app. So if I click this button here, it will open it in Word, still working off of this shared document. So it's not saving another copy to my computer, it's saving it back to this Teams part. The other thing is that two people can be working at it on the same time. So if you see this little Tristen Hall pop up here, that's because that's where Tristen's cursor is. She's either there or there. Sometimes it's a little delayed. Tristen, could you type in this document?
Sure. Yeah, and you can see I just added this new comment under this comment from Jodi, and so I think that's why it's showing me in two cursor places, because I'm in the comment anyway.
Okay.
So it's showing me in both places, but let me navigate back there. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she's editing live. I can do the same thing. I can change the title right here. We can both do it. Now, it generally works pretty well. I do notice if Tristen's working on one paragraph, I try and stay out of that, because if she's doing like big changes, it could get a little funky and you could get a few problems. But in general, I have had 3 or 4 people working on a document at the same time. It was like the deadline looming and we were all trying to get stuff done, and it was smooth. It was really impressive. So this is my favorite way to collaborate with people. It works really well if everyone, again, is in the same organization. So now I'm gonna pull up the slides again, and Tristen's gonna talk a bit about the Egnyte desktop. So, and I have to apologize, I've done a lot of talking here and we're supposed to have more conversations. So again, ask questions if we're, if you have them. So Tristen, go ahead.
In Teams, can I ask a question? In Teams, do you see the version changes? Does it keep the changes or not?
It keeps it as a single document unless you save it as a new version. So the changes that we just made are on the existing document.
Okay.
I think of it as like a living document that changes over time. And you could save it as a new version and have people work off the new version, because it works just like saving. If you were saving on your desktop or on your computer, you could rename it and save it as something else. But
Okay.
generally, I like to keep one version, so unless there's a reason, I would leave it that way.
I'll try. I have something that I'll try it on, just so I can visually see it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll be quick with the Egnyte piece and then we can get a little bit more discussion, but this is kind of similar to how the Zoom plugin kind of integrates Zoom into your Outlook. So, for a long time, I was going out to the Egnyte website, logging in every time and navigating to whatever folder I needed to get to. The really nice thing about the desktop app is then it allows you to access all of your Egnyte folders just like you would if they were on your network drives or on your hard drive. And so I've put a link in here. I know that you guys can't click the slide, and so I shortened the link there in case you want to type it in, but I'm also right now pasting the full link to the chat, and that should be clickable. So you just download and install that. It's very straightforward, just like downloading any other type of software. You'll have to log in just once using the same credentials that you would use when you're going out to the website, but then you're logged in, unless like for some reason they do an update or you get logged out or whatever. Log in, and then you can see here in this screenshot where I've mapped my Egnyte folders to my Z drive. I have my private and my shared folders, and then I can just access these just like they were on my hard drive or a network folder instead of going to a separate website, which it adds up over time. So it adds a little bit, saves you a little bit of time there.
Tristen, did you want to actually demo this, or should we?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Will you stop sharing your, there you go. Okay, so let me make sure I have this file ready. Sorry, multiple things open here. Let me share that. So I'm sharing my file explorer here. Should be showing up. No, resume share. There. And so you can just see I have all my quick access folders here, too many of them, but I just have this separate drive here where I can go to my shared folders. I can navigate in and go to my different project folders. This also makes it easier in case, for a lot of these, I've right-clicked my Egnyte folder and pinned it to my quick access. So I have this quick access. I don't even have to go down here, navigate through a bunch of subfolders to get there. So it's just like if you map your box drive, your Dropbox, any of your hard drive folders, just kind of saves you a step from going out to a separate website.
Okay. So now really, it's just, we did the discussion. So it's discussion time. And really, this is more like, do you have questions? I have a couple discussion prompts here, which is, have you had experience with these? And I'll just skip to the next one, which is, do you have other strategies or tools you would recommend? So I'm going to stop sharing so we could just have some conversation if there's any to have. But anything here look like it's worthwhile, or do you have specific questions on how to use these items?
So I have a dumb, non-techie girl question here. So I tried to download the Egnyte thing, and it says your domain. Is that the CUN shoots, or what would that domain name be?
So I think it's actually still under UC Denver. And so like our Egnyte link is ucdenver.egnyte.com. And so the domain should be UC Denver. See if that works. I had already had it downloaded, so I probably missed some of these steps.
Mm-hmm. You also need an Egnyte account. So if you do not have that yet, have you worked with Egnyte?
Yeah.
Okay.
Check your username. What was
It's
I-
different. It's different from your, it might be different from your Anschutz. Like my login for Egnyte is still Tristen Hall at UC Denver, because that's what it was when I set it up. It's not like, you know, and the password is separate too.
Yeah, mine got updated. So try
Oh,
your email, either email address.
Not that one. Let's try the next one. Somebody else can talk.
Yeah, other questions while she downloads?
I just want to say I'm really excited to use Find Time instead of Doodle Poll. That's going to save me a lot of steps, and they add up. It's like, oh, it's just a few seconds here, a few seconds here. Well,
Yeah.
when you're scheduling a bunch of things, it matters. So anything I can automate, super excited about.
Yeah, yeah. I have used it and it's pretty successful. Like I said, there's sometimes an issue where you pull up times that you think would work and somebody is just never available on Mondays at 3 p.m. or whatever. And because it's every day or every week for them, they don't put it on their calendar. So sometimes you'll end up with proposing options that are not going to work, but it's definitely a step forward in there's usually something out there that'll work for the group. And I would recommend just trying it out. Maybe if you have your own personal email account, you could try and see what it's like if you're looking at somebody who's outside the organization. Because I know it can be done, but I can't remember the details on it. Other questions? We're up at the end of our time. I'm willing to stay on if there's additional questions though. Okay, well, thank you for attending. I did record this and we'll post it shortly. I'm going to post all of the sessions. So there'll be all 4 of these sessions and the slides so that you can refer back to them. Thank you. Thanks to Tristen for your help today, contributions, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.